Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Considering this is Father's Day, and this is a beautiful day, and in the Sunday school lessons across America, they talked about, especially in the Protestant churches, they talked about wisdom. They've been talking about it a little while now. And we always say how precious wisdom is. Now, as an elder, I want to see if I can share some wisdom with you that would kind of give you a little more of a solid understanding of what is referred to when we speak about the original sin and we speak about what happened in the Garden of Eden. It can be quite confusing, but if you really listen, you can see the message and associate it with the current times, and it might make it easier to understand. So I'd like to do just that. I'd like to think about something that is very broad as far as human interest in America, perhaps across the world. And that subject would be sex. That subject matter would be sex. So let me give you some idea of what the original sin is all about. In the beginning, it is said that God told Adam and Eve. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about whether this stuff is true or not, but you know the story. That's what I'm referring to. Told Adam and Eve that everything out here, I fixed it up, is yours. You are the queen and the king. You are the masters of it all. Whatever you do, it's on you. It's yours. Now, there's a way to have it as beautiful as you see it and have a life that is beautiful as you can imagine it to be. Just follow the rules, the natural rules of life. And as long as you do that, everything will be all right. Do not violate it. Do not step out of step with it. Because the moment you do, confusion will be there and you will be all, well, don't do it. To not do it is honor me and you. To do it, to violate that rule, is dishonor to me and a suffering to you. And so, there it is, left it there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that about a tree, good and evil. You've heard about an apple and stuff like that. And you still don't understand what it means. But let me give you this. Here's what it means. Let's take a man and a woman, say Adam and Eve, or you and your significant other. You have a contract, a vow between you and the other that you're going to become one. Now, out of everything else that you say, you're going to become one. Okay. Let's say, for the purpose of this conversation, that you and your significant other are lovers, and you're the only lovers you've ever had. That you really were, what? You didn't engage in sex, not prior to marriage, neither one of you. And so now here you are, the greatest you can ever imagine. The world is yours, everything is fantastic. Let's just say, for instance, some old smooth talker, good looking brother, or whatever, starts eyeing your wife and starts saying all of those sweet things to her. Not that you don't say them too, but it just sounds good, again, coming from others as well. And let's just say you find a situation where this conversation leads into your wife engaging in a situation that you just don't believe is going to happen, but it's happening. All right. Now, your wife has stepped outside of the marriage. She violated the rules. Now she finds out that in violation of the rules, that here's something that's better than what she had. Oh my goodness. So what's going to happen when you find out that there's something better than what you had? You're going to be getting more of it. But then, as if you didn't learn anything, your curiosity now got you listening to another conversation from somebody else that's giving you the same kind of conversation that does the same effect on you. And mind you, that what I'm saying about the woman, I'm also saying about the man. I'm just starting out with the woman first. Get her out of the way. Then now she has tried somebody else. It might be worse than the last time, or better than the last time, or whatever, but now you find yourself, because it's not just you, everybody's playing this game, so everybody keeps moving around and around. And so when you try this, it might be okay. You try something else, it might not be okay. You try this, it might be okay, but here you go. Now what happens when you go back home? Home is never the same. Home is never the same. So you're putting up with it as you try and hope that you can run across what you had ran across before. Man, the same way. Now sometimes it's because a woman get a chance to engage herself in something that gives her more pressure, more pain, and they say with that pain comes pleasure. And if it's that for the woman, it's the same for a man. So I guess what I'm basically saying is this. Goodness gracious. I guess I can go and say it. Some women require a big penis. Some men require a small vagina. And in these situations, they get more pleasure. But if you never tried anybody else, then what you try the first time is the perfect. Because it's not really all about the size. It's all about the imagination. The imagination, which dictates the pleasure, really. But in order for that to happen, you got to be into each other for that to happen. You got to be into one another to have an imagination that would take you there. So, when you're talking about violating the rules, that whole marriage thing is destroyed. It's basically destroyed. Now, can it be mended? You can be forgiven. Will it ever be the same again, even if after being forgiven? No, it won't be the same again. It'll be a different reality. It'll be a different reality. But that doesn't mean that he has to be any less of an acceptable, enjoyable reality. In fact, it's an opportunity for it to be better. You've known people who have divorced, stayed away for years and years, and then they came back together and they had the most wonderful marriage. It was like being forgiven. It's like saying, well, I made a mistake. I learned my lesson, and I'm for real. But now the for realness, the evidence in the marriage is the joy and the happiness that you have that's reunited. It's back together, reacquired again. It's fantastic. That is the evidence of that. But in a society which has been split up because of similar type activities, the evidence of it is the elimination of the pain, the elimination of the suffering. So I guess I just wanted to say that this analogy about this beginning, its expression is well evidenced in the marriage situation. And maybe just if you can see it that way a little bit, it might help in understanding. Because sometimes when you find out somebody been cheating on you, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's very hard. And then sometimes, when it's being very hard, you go out there and you try all kinds of things. You try getting even. How many of you been out there trying to get even? That was a time people just figured you were cheating and tried to get even. Well, they also start killing about little stuff like that. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that marriage thing, that we are one, that flares off into a whole bunch of stuff. That's what we are one in the garden, and it flared off into all different kinds of governments here and there, pain and suffering, the evidence everywhere you go. And the way to change it is to take it back to the way it was. In the beginning, it was required that you did not violate the rules. Wherever it take you, it is required, and it's still required today. So anybody who is led by that spirit will give life to it, such as Martin Luther King, the Dr. Martin Luther King, such as Malcolm X, the Malcolm X. I'm talking about people whose lives was set out to murder them, to stop the truth from spreading. There are so many hundreds of thousands of others that I do not know their names, but the evidence has gone before them, and there are those that do know their names. But that's history, ladies and gentlemen. That is not going to take us into tomorrow. This must be taken now in order for us to move. And we will find no progressive movement for all of us in dealing with the systems that already exist. We must create new systems, no doubt about it, especially if we want to go to a new place. And only those who mind and liberated to the freeness of everyone is wisdom. Thank you.